Welcome back to the deep dive. So, you've sent over this document, a Buyer Brokerage Representation Agreement. Looks pretty official.
It is, yeah. It's a really standard but super important piece of the puzzle if you're planning to buy property using an agent or broker.
Right. And that's what we're going to do today, yeah. Kind of take it apart.
Exactly. We're going to unpack this thing for you. Our mission here is just to highlight the really crucial bits, the things you absolutely need to know so you feel confident about what it all means.
Good. Yeah, let's cut through the legal talk. I want to know, what's the agent doing? What am I promising? And definitely, how does the money part work? Fees.
Fees are always a big one. We'll definitely get into that and maybe uncover a couple of surprising details along the way.
Okay, cool. Let's jump right in then. First things first, what's the basic point of this agreement? Why does it even exist?
Okay, so fundamentally, it's the contract where you, the buyer, officially hire a licensed real estate pro, the broker, to help you out.
Help me out how? Just showing houses.
Well, yes, showing houses, but it's way more than that. It covers the whole shebang from finding properties,
Yeah.
helping you view them, strategizing offers, negotiating.
Negotiation, too.
Oh, yeah, big time. Negotiation, advice, acting as your advocate right through until you get the keys. It formalizes that relationship.
Okay, so it's the whole process, start to finish, and I noticed it lists different property types.
Uh-huh. That's right. You can specify what you're looking for. Is it a regular home residential? Or maybe an investment property? Commercial?
Vacant land, custom build.
Exactly. Vacant land, custom build job, new home construction.
Yeah.
It lists the common ones. And there's another box, too, so you can write in something specific if it doesn't quite fit the categories.
Flexible, and location, too, right? It mentions a geographic area.
Yes, that's key. You define where the broker's going to focus their search. Could be like certain towns, zip codes, or maybe just a general description like Clark County.
Remember this? It says you can limit it to just one specific property using an address and APN. What's APN?
Ah, good catch. APN stands for Assessor's Parcel Number. Think of it like a unique ID number for each piece of land or property.
Like a VIN number for a car.
Sort of, yeah. For property. So if you already know the exact property you want to make an offer on, you can limit the agreement just to that specific one using its address and APN.
Okay, so it can be broad or super narrow. Got it. What about timing? How long does this agreement stick around?
Right, the term. The agreement spells this out clearly. It kicks off the day it's signed by everyone involved.
And when does it end?
It ends either on a specific date and time written in the contract, usually, like midnight on that day, or when you actually close on a property you found through that broker, whichever happens later.
Ah, whichever is later. Okay, so it sees the deal through, potentially. Makes sense. All right, the big topic, money. The broker fee. The agreement really stresses this isn't set by law.
Yes, this is maybe the biggest aha moment for people. Let's be super clear. The broker fee is not fixed by any government rule or realtor group policy. It says right there it's negotiable.
Fully negotiable. Between me and the broker.
100%. That number, whether it's a percentage or something else, is something you agree upon. It's not just handed down.
That's huge. Okay, so if it's negotiable, what are the usual ways it's structured?
Well, the agreement gives options. Probably the most common is a percentage of the final gross purchase price. The total amount you pay for the place.
Okay, percentage. What else?
You could agree on a flat, fixed dollar amount instead.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the final price is, the fee is just that set amount. Or less common, maybe a specific amount allocated for something else, but that would have to be clearly written in.
Gotcha. Percentage or flat fee seem like the main ones. And this fee is paid only when the deal actually closes, right?
Correct. The fee is earned and due upon the successful closing of the transaction, when it's all done and dusted. But there's a bit more to it.
Oh, what's that?
There's a protection period for the broker. The agreement usually says that if the agreement ends or gets canceled, right, and then within a certain time period after that, maybe 90 days, 180 days, it'll specify.
Okay.
If during that window you end up buying a property that specific broker introduced you to while the agreement was active.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Yeah. Then you likely still owe that original broker their fee when that deal closes, even though the main agreement period ended.
Prevents me from just waiting them out, basically.
Exactly. Protects the work they already did. And notice, too, the agreement itself acts as escrow instructions for paying that fee. Meaning, by signing it, you're telling the escrow company, yes, pay my broker this agreed-upon fee directly from the closing funds. Streamlines the payment.
Okay, that's pretty clear on the fees. What else should I be looking out for? I see disclosures here.
Super important section. This is all about transparency. First, it confirms you got the duties owed form. That's standard in Nevada, spells out exactly what your agent legally owes you. Loyalty, confidentiality, that stuff.
Okay, agent duties.
Yeah.
What about dual agency? Sounds tricky.
It can be. Dual agency is when the same brokerage, or sometimes even the same agent, ends up representing both you, the buyer, and the seller in the same deal.
Wait, they can do that?
They can, but only if everyone knows and agrees in writing. If that situation pops up, the broker has to tell you immediately and get your written okay using a form called consent to act.
So everyone has to sign off saying they understand the broker's wearing two hats.
Precisely. Full disclosure is key there. And another point in disclosures, you acknowledge your broker might also be working with other buyers.
Other buyers looking for similar houses to me.
Yeah, potentially. It's just acknowledging the reality that brokers often have multiple clients,
Right.
some of whom might have similar needs.
Right. Okay, disclosure's covered. Now, let's flip it. What does the broker promise to do for me? Broker's efforts.
This part outlines their job description, essentially. They commit to using their professional efforts to, find properties that fit what you're looking for.
Finding and showing.
Finding, presenting them to you, arranging tours, going with you, giving you their analysis on properties you like.
Analysis, like pricing advice.
Yep, market analysis, insights. And crucially, helping you write up offers, submit them, and negotiate the terms. Plus, cooperating with the seller's agent, handling paperwork, basically guiding you through.
My guide and my negotiator. Okay, so what about my side of the bargain? Buyer's representations and duties.
Right, your commitments. And the first one listed is usually the big one. You agree to work exclusively with this broker.
Exclusively, meaning I can't just call up another agent if I see their sign.
Exactly that. During the term of this agreement, you commit to using only this broker for your search and purchase efforts in the defined area or for the specified properties.
Yeah.
It's a monogamous relationship, professionally speaking.
Huh. Okay, exclusivity. That's a serious commitment. What else am I on the hook for?
You agree to provide necessary info. Think financial stuff like your mortgage pre-approval letter, proof you have the funds for a down payment.
Makes sense. They need to know I'm a serious buyer.
Right. And you authorize them to share that info with sellers when making offers. You also agree to be reasonably available to look at properties they find and respond to them promptly.
Be engaged in the process.
Yeah, you got to be part of the team.
Oh.
You also agree to act in good faith, meaning you genuinely intend to buy if you find the right place. And, importantly, you agree to do your own homework, your own inspections on any property you're serious about.
Due diligence is still on me.
Yeah.
Okay, now what was that specific point about new homes or lots that sounded important?
Yes, very practical point. Listen up here. Many builders, developers, people selling lots, even some for sale by owners, have a rule. They'll only pay your broker's commission if your broker is with you on your very first visit.
The first visit.
The very first time you set foot on that property or in that sales office, if you wander in by yourself first and then bring your broker later, the seller might say, "Nope, sorry, we're not paying your broker."
And if seller won't pay?
Then, according to this agreement, you might be responsible for paying your broker the agreed-upon fee yourself.
Wow. Okay, huge heads up there. Always bring my broker on the first visit, especially for new stuff or FSBOs.
That's the safest bet, absolutely.
Huh.
Which leads right into the 4 best experience section. It literally recommends being accompanied by your broker on first visits.
What else is in best experience?
It also stresses doing all your negotiations through your broker. Don't try to talk price directly with the seller or their agent. Let your broker handle it. Keeps things clean.
Makes sense. And it warns about signing more than one of these exclusive agreements.
Big warning. Don't sign multiple exclusive buyer agreements covering the same time period or geographic area. If you do and you buy a house, you could potentially owe a full commission to those brokers.
Ouch. Double fees. No thanks.
Yeah. Right. So there's usually a spot where you have to declare if you're already party to any other buyer agreements, exclusive or not, just to get everything out in the open.
Transparency again. Okay. What if we want the seller to pay my broker's fee? Can we ask for that in the offer?
Yes, definitely. The agreement specifically mentions this, collecting broker's fee from the seller. You can instruct your broker to include a term in your purchase offer asking the seller to pay your broker's fee.
How would that work? Like a credit?
Could be a credit towards your closing cost, or the seller could just pay the brokerage directly at closing. Your broker puts it in the offer if you want them to, and they'll negotiate it.
And the broker won't get paid twice, right? Like from the seller and me?
Correct. The agreement usually states the broker won't collect more than the total agreed-upon fee, regardless of the source.
Good. Okay. Almost there. Important legal and ethical considerations. Sounds serious.
It covers some standard but vital stuff. Equal housing opportunity, no discrimination. Fair housing laws.
Standard practice.
Yep. Then, a really critical wire transfer warning. This is huge nowadays with cybercrime.
Oh, yeah. Wire fraud is scary.
Totally. So this warns you that the brokerage will not just email you wire instructions. They tell you to be incredibly careful, verify any instructions independently, like call a known number, not one from the email. Because if you wire money based on fake instructions, you could lose it all.
And the brokerage isn't liable if I mess that up.
Essentially, yes. It puts the responsibility squarely on you to verify wire instructions before sending funds. Very, very important warning.
Definitely noted. What else in the legal bits?
It confirms Nevada law governs the agreement, and disputes usually go to arbitration in Nevada. You confirm you have the legal right to sign it. If there's more than one buyer, you're all equally responsible, joint and several liability. And your obligation to pay the fee passes to your heirs if something happens to you.
Okay, standard legal stuff. Last thing I see is cancellation. Can I get out of this if it's not working?
Yes, there's usually an out. Either you or the broker can cancel the agreement by giving written notice to the other party.
Just like that. Send a letter or email.
Pretty much, written notice is key. However, big exception. You generally can't cancel it if you're already under contract to buy a property found through that broker.
Ah, so if we're mid-deal, the agreement stays until closing.
Typically, yes. It sees that specific transaction through. But if you're just not finding anything or the relationship isn't clicking, cancellation before you're under contract is usually an option via written notice.
Got it. Okay, wow, that was a lot, but super helpful. So if we boil it all down, what are the absolute must-remember points from this whole agreement?
Okay, the big three, I'd say. 1, this thing formalizes your working relationship. It sets the rules of the game for both you and your agent.
Defines the partnership.
Exactly. 2, it clearly outlines what your broker will do for you and what you need to do, especially that exclusivity part. Expectations are set.
Roles and responsibilities. Got it. And 3.
3, fees. It details how the broker gets paid, when they get paid, and critically, that the amount of that fee is negotiable between you and the broker before you sign.
Negotiable fees. That's still the big takeaway for me. Understanding that gives you power.
It really does. Knowing these things means you can sign this agreement feeling informed and ready to move forward.
Definitely. All right, so here's something to chew on after this. Since this agreement locks you into an exclusive relationship, really think about what that means for you. How involved do you want to be? What kind of advocate do you need? Mull over what that ideal partnership looks like before you commit. Because, clear communication from day one with whoever you choose, that's going to be essential.
Couldn't agree more. Open dialogue is key.
Thanks for walking us through that super valuable stuff.
My pleasure. Glad we could dive deep into it.